It's time to explore the great indoors.
Pirates ahead, all hands on deck and ready the cannons.
Where imagination has no boundaries.
And then the princess rode the dragon.
And fun is limitless.
Captain, we're ready for liftoff.
Explore the great indoors with Eagle Communications, with TV and internet starting at $84.99 for 2 years.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Welcome again to our Community Connection from the studios of Eagle Community Television, with, as always, thanks to our producer and editor and scheduler of our series, Brandon Cooley. We're in the studios with the Ellis County Volunteer Coordinator for the Salvation Army Red Kettle Drive this year, Kyle Ermoian. And let's start with the basics here. How'd you get involved in this campaign, Kyle?
Thank you for asking me to come, Mike. It's always a pleasure to speak on behalf of the Salvation Army. I retired from Celebration Community Church on October 31st. We moved some of our things to Georgia. Our plan is to go there and help to raise our grandchildren. And as soon as I got back, I had the Salvation Army on my heart. And I've rung bells for the Salvation Army as a volunteer for years. And when I understood that they had a volunteer coordinator's position available, open, and needing right at the Christmas season, it just seemed to be a natural match. And so I talked to Ashley Allen, who's the area-wide director, and we hit it off. And so I hit the ground running. I was retired for 1 week, and then back at doing it. So the Salvation Army is a wonderful organization, and I've been a proud supporter of it for years, as I'm sure many of you have as well.
And volunteers make it work.
Oh, it's all about the volunteers. You know, I had someone come in and put a $5 bill in the kettle. Actually, this has happened twice, just in the last couple of days, and said how much they appreciate the Salvation Army because the CEO of the Salvation Army makes as much as this elderly gentleman does in his pension. His salary is minimal compared to other big corporations. And so people understand the value of what the Salvation Army does, but also the stewardship that they do it with.
Is it too late to volunteer?
Oh my goodness, no. We will be ringing the bells all the way up through December the 23rd. And so we invite everyone who wants to get out, take an hour of your time between now and Christmas and ring the bells for Salvation Army. And here's an interesting statistic, Mike. When someone is at the kettles, there's an average of about $38 an hour that gets collected. Guess how much it is when there's no one at the kettle?
What?
$2.
Oh my goodness.
So when there is a physical presence, someone there ringing the bells. I brought a bell somewhere. Anyway, I brought a bell. When someone is ringing the bells, it attracts attention. It reminds people of who the Salvation Army is and what the Salvation Army does. And then they give generously.
And the volunteers meet some great people too in the process.
I'm having a blast on the times that I'm out there, just seeing old friends, meeting new people, just being able to say Merry Christmas to people and to mean it and to really have people enjoy this shopping experience.
And know that as a volunteer, collecting those funds, you're helping somebody somewhere have a Merry Christmas.
Absolutely. And that somebody and that somewhere is right here in Ellis County. 87% of the monies that are collected here stay right here. And Ashley Allen throughout the year serves people in need all year round with utility help, with rent help, with food help, with transportation help, with clothing help. There were close to 200 people last year who were helped, but there were close to 500 people that were turned away. because there wasn't enough funds to be able to meet their needs. And it just broke Ashley's heart.
Yeah.
And so we've set a very high goal for this year, almost twice of what the goal was for last year, to be able to help those people so she doesn't have to turn anybody away, hopefully, in this next year. So that's why we really encourage people to get on board and to help to support the Salvation Army by being a bell ringer.
And also to give, obviously, to
You
the
know,
Salvation Army.
we have kettles in front of both doors at Walmart, in front of the doors at both Dillon's locations, at Hobby Lobby, at Walgreens, at Big Creek Crossing. And then we have little kettles spread throughout lots of retailers throughout the community. So wherever you go, you will see a red Salvation Army kettle, and we encourage you to, on the way in, on the way out, put some money in there. It does, however much that you feel like you can give, please do so. I've got a story to tell you. Can I tell you?
Sure.
There was a woman who signed up to be a volunteer. She saw the Hayes Post article, as a matter of fact, called the number at that point in time and signed up, had never rung for the Salvation Army before. While she was there, and the reason she signed up in the first place was because a couple years earlier her father had passed away and was in Topeka. They couldn't get his body from Topeka to here. They just couldn't afford to do so. The Salvation Army stepped up and did so.
Wow.
She was grateful for that, so she decides to ring the bell. A gentleman comes up to her kettle at that time, a man she did not know, but she looked in his eyes and felt a connection with him. He put in 10 $100 bills, $1,000 into the kettle. And they had a conversation, and she felt as if in some way that connection was with her departed father, and it was the Salvation Army that made that connection for them. I've been dying to tell that story, and thank you for the opportunity to let me do so, because that's the impact that we have. People who have been helped by Salvation Army, then helping others. Now, whether you've been helped by Salvation Army or not, we encourage people to keep that story going, because that's what Christmas is all about, is it not? It's about giving. We have families who come out and ring the bells, and I always encourage people to bring their kids out with them, because it tells the kids Christmas is not all about getting, but it is about giving. And we always let the kids know where that money goes for. Kids are going to have a Christmas because they are ringing the bells to help.
Our producer, Brandon Cooley, will put a phone number on the bottom of the screen. What's the number for volunteers?
Well, we have another volunteer coordinator who does the scheduling and all of that. Her name is Stacy Schulte, and her number is 785-259-0336. And so we want to encourage people to call that number. Stacy will schedule you at a time at your convenience. If there are groups, organizations, we've got ball teams from Fort Hays, from Hays High, from TMP, cheerleaders from all of those groups. We've got banks and businesses, and all the service organizations are out there ringing, and it's a great community effort, because I think people understand this is a community-wide project to help people within this community, and people are very willing to do so. And so we encourage groups to do so, but we also encourage the individuals, the people who we're talking to right now, who say, you know what, I can do that. I can give an hour or two. I don't want to limit you to an hour. I was out there for 2 hours yesterday in front of Walmart, ringing the bell. I looked at my watch. I said, where did the time go? It went by so fast, because it's interaction with people and just an opportunity to wish people a Merry Christmas.
Now, a title that you have given up, I guess we could have to say now that Kyle Ermoian is a former pastor of Celebration Community Church. Your decision to leave?
Well, for the last 5 years at least, I've been creating a team at Celebration to kind of take over for me. And Brant Rice and Derek Mayfield, our new senior pastor and systems pastor, have all grown up in the midst of this church. know the system, know the DNA, and fit it very well. So we're in good hands in regards to that. So that was part of the decision. The most significant part, though, is my wife Debbie and I have 4 grandkids, and they all live in Georgia. And we get to see them a couple times a year. That's not enough. And so we decided at the time of our retirement that we would move to Georgia. We found a home about 55 minutes north of where our kids live, in a gated community, in a log cabin kind of home. It's a beautiful place for the kids to come to. And so the major reason for the decision at this point in time was our grandkids are 11, 9, 7, and 5. Now's the time to go and to spend time with them, go to their ball games, enjoy them, teach them the stuff that we have learned over our life, because of course my wife Debbie has been an educator for years, and so has so much to pour into our grandkids, and we look forward to doing that. So that was the decision, and October 31st was my last day. The church threw a wonderful reception for me. It was a fitting, it was a Derek Jeter goodbye, you know, the gifts and cards and so much. And lots of people from the community, not just from the church, because of course, like with the Thanksgiving Day meal and the food collection for that, and all the things that we have done over the years for ECMA, it was a fitting goodbye. We're going to miss Hayes. Hayes has been good to us. The church has been great to us, and the people in this community have been wonderful. And I'm thankful to Eagle. And as a matter of fact, you know, when I said all the businesses who are going to be ringing the bells, Eagle Communication has signed up to do so. And we've got lots of people from the Eagle family going to be ringing the bells as well. So it's a great community. We've loved this community. We will miss this community. But we're interested in regards to what's next. You know, 24 years ago, I moved to Hayes. Had no idea what I was going to be doing. Started off going back into the radio business that I had been in. But God had a plan for me, and the plan was to start Celebration Community Church. I know that now. God has a plan for Debbie and I also in Ellis, Georgia, but we just don't know what it is yet. There's a scripture verse that we used to write on the walls. We do that every year at Celebration Church. We'd write our scripture verse of the year on the walls of the church. Everybody in the church does that. Our verse for this year was Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. And we've clung to that verse and look forward to the plans that God has for us today until Christmas and then beyond that in Georgia.
Were you surprised by the success, the openness of the community to coming and being a part of the Celebration Community Church?
Yes, really was. You know, when God put on my heart to start a new church, it was a daunting task. But early on I had the assurance from Him. I can't say a verbal one, but I just knew that the church was going to succeed because it wasn't my idea. It was His idea. It was His plan. It was His purpose. And we just tried to create an environment that is inviting, that encourages people, and that accepts all different kinds of people from all different kinds of faiths. And it has proven to, God is faithful, and He has been faithful in this.
What's your most satisfaction part of community?
You know, when I see that every person who is on the staff of Celebration Church, and it's about 17 people now, full and part-time, each and every one of them walked into that place for the first time as a guest, as a visitor. And they saw it, they caught the vision, they grew in it, they served as a volunteer, they served as a part-time employee, and they just grew in their faith. And then to see that they are now encouraging other people to do the same, and it's that ripple effect that people, not just becoming a church member that sits in in a seat, but someone who is active in ministry. Someone we have a program called C3LA, Celebration Community Church Leadership Academy, that raises up leaders, teaches them what it's like a mini seminary, teaches them what does it mean to be a part of a church and what does it mean to serve in the midst of a church. And it's been a very successful program.
And those members going out into the community and serving in the community.
Not just in this community, but throughout. We have sent out pastors, music leaders, missionaries all over the world in the last 21 years from Celebration Church. So when you ask what are the most satisfying things, it's that it continues and it just blossoms and grows.
Well, sir, it has been a real pleasure over these years. Oh. There's an old hymn that says, God be with you till we meet again.
I know it as well.
And let's hope we do.
Thank you so much. And again, to all the people in the community that listen to this, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this community. And as I've been saying to people, we'll see you down the road. You know, life isn't just about what we have here, but it is about an eternity that God gives to us. And so I look forward to seeing you between now and Christmas, ringing those bells for the Salvation Army. And then I look forward to seeing you again because Hayes is in our hearts.
Ellis County Volunteer Coordinator for the Salvation Army Red Kettle Campaign, Kyle Ermoian, our community connection.
Hi, I'm Brandon Cooley, and I'm the Video Production Director at Eagle Marketing Solutions. We're a full-service production house. Service to me really is everything. I think it's very important that we show our clients that we really have their best interest in mind. Video is very engaging. It's really the best platform to tell your story. We pride ourselves on attention to detail, creative concepts, and fast turnaround. We're always working to find new ways to make our product better and to be able to just do what we can to help the client tell their story in the best way possible.
Eagle Communications is your complete business solution with options to fit any budget. We provide business class phone with customizable features and fast, reliable internet. Your knowledgeable team at Technology Solutions has a broad base of IT services to meet your needs. Let the experts at Marketing Solutions get your message to the right people on the best platforms. Eagle Communications will build your personalized business plan. Call us at 877-61-EAGLE.
Welcome again to our Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. We're in the studios with our executive producer and editor of the series, Brandon Cooley, and also with the head of the Academic Success Programs at the Kelly Center at Fort Hays State University, Maggie Denning, who actually joined back in 1970 or 92, I believe, right, yes. Maggie?
Yes.
Tell me a bit of the history of the Kelly Center. What's it all about?
Well, basically, it started out more working with children and families that had psychological issues, and it kind of developed through the student affairs side, becoming a wraparound service for students and faculty and staff, just kind of covering every area of student life.
Now, was it originally in Wiest, I believe?
Yes, it was in the annex of Wiest. When I actually started as an undergrad, it was in the annex, and then they made a spot for us in the top floor of Pitkin, and then we spent 2 years in Wiest while they remodeled, and now we're in the garden level of Pitkin.
And a great setup. It's beautiful up there. It's a really nice facility now,
It
Maggie.
is. It's very nice, and we have the privacy, which is very important to people that want to come to the Kelly Center because of confidentiality, and so everything is just downstairs. There's 3 exits to get and entrances to get into there, and people have to really be coming to the Kelly Center to be on that floor.
What are the services that the Kelly Center offers?
Well, first there's my program, which is the Academic Success Program, and I'm also in charge of the peer tutoring program. And then we have accessibility services for students. We have the DAWN program, which is drug and alcohol wellness, and personal counseling. And then we also have a Prometric testing center where people can do certification tests. I think they offer around 4,000 different tests that you can take there.
Wow. Complete services.
Everything. Just kind of a wraparound for students' success.
And you also serve faculty and staff too, right?
We do. We have faculty that take certification tests there. We have faculty staff, sometimes it just needs a place to go just to unwind and talk to a personal counselor. I work with some faculty staff on some of the academic things, so they use us and we use them to try to help students be successful.
Let's talk about a couple of your areas that you work in, the peer success. Explain that to us.
The tutoring? Well, I have students, which I always like to say are the best of the best at Fort Hays, and they are available by appointment or walk-in to help students with some of the general education courses. And it's free and it's one-on-one. So you have 45 minutes with someone to help you. They don't teach, you know, they are just there to help clarify. And we're very busy. They like to help, and so people come back.
And they've been there. They've experienced what this
they have to have taken these classes that they tutor, and they have to have gotten an A or a B in it and have a 2 faculty recommendations in order to do it.
Indeed, the best of the best.
Yes, they are. They really are.
And you love them, don't you?
I call them my kids. Yes, I do. They're awesome, and they become doctors and teachers and lawyers. They're everywhere, and I do keep in contact with most of them. So
they're really out serving society and humanity, aren't they, Maggie?
They are. They are, and they're just wonderful people.
Now, what about the Academic Success Program? What's that about?
Well, I work with students and both traditional and non-traditional, maybe time management, test taking, test anxiety, brushing up on college level skills versus high school skills. Sometimes students are mandated to come see me if they are not doing really well in the classroom, and they may end up on a probation or something, and they come see me weekly, and we just kind of discuss what they've done, how they're improving, and things like that. So I'm there to kind of, and sometimes I'm the reality therapist. You know, what's plan B if you're not going to follow through on all this stuff, but not very often. You know, usually students really do want to do well, just life gets in the way sometimes.
Just like for all of us, I guess, Maggie.
Exactly.
Talk about test taking, finals, test taking for students really of all ages, I guess, because we're tested throughout our whole academic career, it seems like.
We really are. I'll specifically talk about getting ready for next week at Fort Hays. The tests start Saturday for the math. I would say the main thing to do now as far as getting ready for the test would be make sure you're eating, make sure you get enough sleep, do a little exercising, move. You have to have a healthy body and a healthy mind to be able to do testing, because it's very stressful. And cut the drama, because you can't worry about what you didn't do now. Just be very realistic and kind of sit down and decide, you know, make a plan and prioritize. What do I need to do? What are the rules? What's left, and what do I have to get done? The syllabi is a good place to look. You know, what haven't we been tested over? Because they'll tell you in the learning objectives in the classes in college, these are the things you'll know once you've completed this course. And if you haven't been tested over that, it's going to be on the final.
You know, Maggie, some of those tips would apply to elementary, middle school, high school students. Good breakfast to start the day, a good night's sleep ahead of time. So you're not a fan of cramming the night before a test then?
It really doesn't work. There's only so much room in short-term memory, and so what you push it in and you push it back out with new stuff, so I don't think it works. And you have to be realistic when you take a test. If you're not prepared, it's not time to start worrying about what could happen and what I should have done. It's like, okay, I'm going to make an educated guess. I've been to class, I've listened. I maybe didn't prepare as well as I should, but I'm going to sit down and do the best I can. And that attitude will really help in a testing situation.
And that worry and frustration kind of blocks any memory that you have of the material that the professor or teacher covered.
It does. It does. You just need to leave everything but the test information outside the door when you go into a test.
Now, would your tips apply to, say, adults that might be taking tests, whether it's an insurance exam or real estate or virtual college exams. Same thing for adults, Maggie?
I would say everything. I mean, it's pretty basic. You know, go in prepared. If you have things going on in your life that you're worried about, do not take those into the testing room. You can pick that back up when you walk out. We have a little game that we play with the Domestic Testing Center coordinator. She keeps the stress and handles it for them while they're in the test. Because sometimes I work with students that are testing with her, and so she just takes it and hangs on to it, and when they come back out, she gives it back to them if they want it.
Just kind of hands it off to them.
Exactly. Because, you know, even though you're going to have some kind of stress, just you need a little to be to perform well. But worrying about what if I don't pass this, you know, worry your whole life away in 2 seconds in the testing room takes time. And then you forget what you had studied so hard for to achieve. And so if you're taking a certification test to be a doctor, a dentist, whatever, you know, or if you're just taking a test to get out of a gen ed, during the test is no time to think about what else could happen.
High school teachers tell me that reviewing the information from the class after the class is very helpful to put it into long-term memory as opposed to the short-term memory of just trying to cram before finals.
Exactly. You know, a little saying that I like, if you study every day, like you have a test tomorrow, you'll never have to study hard. Because you just keep reviewing, you know. I mean, I go over this stuff the same day you hear it, review it once a week, and study every day, not just 2 hours before a test or an all-nighter, which you're probably going to not wake up and miss the test.
Maybe miss the whole test.
That happens to students, or they'll like drink 3 glasses of Mountain Dew and be so keyed up that they can't concentrate, and then they fall asleep and don't wake up. So, just try to keep calm and show them what you know when you take a test.
And the sleep, folks tell me that that good night's sleep helps to free up the brain of all of those intrusive thoughts that might be coming in place of the information you need for the test.
It does. It does. And I know sleep is an issue a lot of times for college students. They tend to stay up late and then not get enough sleep, maybe nap during the day. But if you get a good night's sleep and you go to bed thinking about what you have to do the next day and then just shutting that off, you'll wake up refreshed. But if you keep waking up, one of the tips I give them is just keep a little pad beside your bed and write down what's bothering you, because it'll keep coming up and waking you up if you don't think about it. If you don't do something about it, I'm sorry. And that could be with the test material too. You may think of something, oh, I don't know this. Well, write it down, and I'll look it up in the morning. So. And
by writing it down, you've got a physical record of it. You can then exit that from the brain and maybe relax a little bit.
Right, because if you don't deal with it in one way when it wakes you up, you will keep waking up with it.
Who were your influences, Maggie, in your career when you decided what got you started in counseling?
Well, I went back to school when I was in my 40s, and I decided, well, I started with home ec. I'll just go ahead and try that. Fantastic program. I liked all of my instructors. And as I was doing that, I didn't want to do retail. Nutrition didn't interest me. I really didn't want to teach in a high school or a grade school. And so about my junior year, I was working in the Kelly Center for Eddie Tejeda and working with students in that actual academic success programs, and just decided, I think this is what I want to do. I want to help people. And I started out wanting to do family counseling. And as I continued to work as an undergrad and a graduate, I thought, I really want to do this. I love my job. I should have retired a long time ago, but I like what I do, and I like who I work with, and so I just feel like I just made the right decision by doing that. I got my counseling degree after my bachelor's, and been in the Kelly Center 19 years as a full-time employee.
And still loving every day?
I love it, and I love working with the students. I just really like what I do.
Was Eddie a mentor of such?
Yes, he was.
Fair to say?
Yeah, I would say he was. He had a new idea every day, and he believed in me, and he actually had me working with students on time management and things like that. As an undergraduate, they would meet with me on that.
That's an important part of this overall scheme, too, is time management, especially for those busy college students.
It is. Well, I think for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and prioritizing.
Especially now during the holidays. Could you give us a couple of tips as we close today of managing these holidays?
Well, stay grounded and really think about what this holiday, what does it mean? It's family and it's friends, and for a lot of us, it's a religion. And so don't try to make it something it's not. And if it's not fun and you're stressed out, it's not going to be fun for anybody. And if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. And I think everybody needs to just kind of sit back and what can I do that doesn't stress me out and my family, because if mama's stressed, everybody's stressed. And so I think just kind of stay grounded and be realistic with what you can do. And that time management, we can't be the perfect parent and the perfect cook and buy the perfect gift, but just enjoy what you have. Be grateful for what you have. And
maybe those images you see in those perfect commercials that are on 24 hours a day maybe are not realistic.
I'm thinking not. How about you, Mike?
And try to get to the point, as you say, where you pick and choose.
You do, and what is important to you and your family? What makes you happy? How do you want to celebrate this time of the year?
Great tips.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping us today. The Academic Success Programs Director at the Kelly Center at Fort Hays State University, Maggie Denning, is our community connection.
For over 60 years, Eagle Communications has been the leader in value and service. And over that time, our specialized teams have been helping businesses grow because Eagle is your one-stop for business solutions. We can provide the latest in hosted phone, reliable fiber internet, IT support, business compliance, and network planning. Plus, we offer affordable advertising on television, radio, and digital platforms. Call our employee owners today and let us serve you. Eagle Communications, our community connected.